Yo, what's going on? So sometimes building your credit can feel super confusing, especially when you're a complete beginner and you're just getting started. But honestly, it doesn't really have to be. One of the best ways to start building your credit if you are a beginner and you've never had a credit card before is by using a secured credit card. So that's exactly what I'm going to be breaking down in this video now. First, I'll explain exactly what a secured card is and why it's the perfect tool for beginners or anybody looking to rebuild their credit. Then I'll talk about how you should use a secured card the right way to build a strong credit foundation from day one. And then finally, I'll talk about a secured card that I personally recommend and why I think it's one of the best options out there for beginners and why it stands out as opposed to a lot of the other ones out there. What's going on, y'all? My name is Ruben and this is Eternal Assets, where I'll talk any and everything stocks, business, and personal finance. Listen, I don't want to waste your guys' time any longer, so let's get right into the video. Alright, so before we talk strategy, I think it's important to take a step back and talk about what exactly a secured card is. So a secured credit card is designed for people who either don't have credit or you have damaged credit and you just need a fresh start. Now, the key difference between a secured credit card or a regular unsecured credit card is that with a secured card, you're going to have to first put up an initial security deposit. Usually it's around $200 or $300 up front. That security deposit then becomes your credit limit. So say for example you put down $200, now your credit limit is $200. You put down $300, now your credit limit is $300. Now that deposit isn't necessarily a fee and you're not buying the credit card, but it's simply collateral for the bank. They hold on to it so now they can trust you with the card even though you don't have any credit history yet. And because now that the bank is protected by your deposit, they can approve people who normally wouldn't qualify for a regular credit card. More importantly, a secured credit card still reports your credit activity to the major credit bureaus, so think Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, just like a normal credit card would. So every responsible swipe, every on-time payment, and every low balance helps to build your credit history from the ground up. It's literally the easiest, safest, and fastest way to start building your credit if you've never had any before. Okay, so now that you know what a secure card is, let's talk about the part that really matters, and that's how to use it the right way so it actually builds your credit instead of hurting it. Now, there's two very important dates that you're going to need to understand with any credit card that you ever have, and that's one, the statement closing date, and two, the payment due date. A lot of beginners may confuse these two, but knowing the difference is huge for building your credit. Starting off with the statement closing date, aka the statement date. Now, this is the date that the credit card company is going to take a snapshot of your balance and creates a monthly statement. Whatever your balance is on this date is what gets reported to the credit bureau, so that means that even if you pay it off a little bit later, the number that they see on this date is what affects your credit utilization, which is a huge part of your credit score. So the key is to always have a low balance reported by the time that this date comes around. So when you do get your hands on your card, be very mindful of when this date is and try your best to pay down your limit when it does start getting close. Now, the next one is the payment due date, aka the bill due date. Now, this is the day that your payment is actually due, and usually it falls around 25 or 27 days after the statement closing date that I just mentioned earlier. Now, you must make a payment on or before this date to avoid any late fees or interest being added onto the balance you currently have. And it also helps to protect your payment history, which by far is the #1 factor in your credit score. So missing this date is and can be a pretty big deal. Now, I want to talk about a few rules that are good to know once you do get your hands on that first secure card. Starting off with #1, and that's to keep your utilization low. So just because you have a $200 limit, for example, does not mean that you have to spend the entire $200 every single month. A good rule of thumb that you likely heard a lot of people say is to try and keep your balance under 30% of your total limit, preferably even 10%, because the lower the better. So if your limit is $200, you should probably aim to keep your balance somewhere around $20 to $60 tops. Now, it's not the end of the world if you do end up using more than 30% of your limit, but it is very important to make sure that you pay it down to a lower percentage by the time that your next statement due date comes around. Rule #2 is to always, and I mean always, pay your balance in full every month. So I mentioned this earlier, and that's the fact that the biggest factor in your credit score is your payment history. So paying your balance in full every month is super important. Do not pay just the minimum payment, because yes, it does keep your account in good standing, but the issue is that now all that's left over gets interest added on top of it. So when you do pay the full statement balance, you're avoiding paying interest, and you show lenders that you're responsible using the card. If you're worried about forgetting, you can always turn on auto pay or just make a couple small payments throughout the month to keep your balance on the lower side. But the bottom line is to always pay your statement balance in full and never miss a due date. This habit alone can go a long way when building your credit. Okay, so in rule #3 is that remember, a credit card is not free money. One small tip that I always use with any of the credit cards that I have is that I never spend more on the credit card than I know that I actually have in my actual checking account. You shouldn't be using your secure card to pay for things that you can't afford, so instead treat it like your debit card. Pick one small recurring expense, maybe Netflix or Spotify or filling up your gas tank every month, and then put that and only that on the card. Make sure you pay it off immediately, keep the card active, but also keep it controlled. And the fourth and final rule that I want to mention is to be patient and be consistent. Remember that building credit takes time, so you should not expect your credit score to take a huge jump overnight. What really matters is showing up consistent with a pattern of responsible use, keeping your balance low, paying on time, and using your credit card every single month. Do that for around 6 to 12 months and you'll start to really see steady progress with your credit. Credit is really just a long-term trust score, so the more consistent you are, the faster your trust really grows. Alright, so finally, let's talk about the secure card that I personally recommend for beginners, and that's the Discover It Secure Card. So the first reason why is because it doesn't have an annual fee. Now, a lot of different credit cards out there, whether they be secured or unsecured, sometimes charge an annual fee just to have the card. Typically, it can be anywhere from $35 to $99 to even more sometimes every single year. The Discover It Secure Card has no annual fee, which immediately makes it one of the best deals out there. On top of that, at number 2 is the fact that with this card, you actually earn cashback rewards, which when it comes to secure cards is pretty rare. Right now, the Discover It Secure Card offers 2% cashback at gas stations and restaurant purchases, and then 1% back on everything else. Now, yes, even though this may seem a little bit small, at the end of the day, it is a nice little bonus for a card that usually 9 times out of 10 is going to be the first one that a lot of people ever tend to get. On top of that, it also offers a cashback match for all of the cashback rewards that you've gotten in the first year of having the card. So say you've earned $50 rewards in the first year, they'll double it and then give you a total of $100. If you earn $80, they'll double it and give you a total of $160. So that's basically free money for just using the card responsibly. And now the very last great perk of using this card is that after at least 6 months of responsible use, Discover gives you the option to upgrade the secured card to one of the other unsecured cards. Now this is really huge because not only do you keep the same account history, but you also get your money back and you can move up to one of the regular credit cards that Discover offers. It's one of the smoothest and simplest upgrade paths out there that you'll find compared to a lot of other credit card companies. So that is all that I've got for this video. If you found it helpful, please drop a like and subscribe for more personal finance tips, and let me know down in the comments what your credit score goals are for this year. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.